everybody, welcome to another video. This one is the NS Iwata W400 WB. Now, there's two different caps in the WB range, excluding WBX, but there's two of the blue bezel caps that we get in Europe anyway, which is the WB1 and the WB2. So the WB1, which is this particular one here, has a lower air consumption and a slightly lower output fluid wise from exactly the same size tip as the WB2 does. So just quickly, the WB2 according to Iwata uses 390 litres of air a minute, whereas the WB1 we have here uses 230. So it's not quite half the amount, but it's not far off it. So that makes it actually a very, very good gun for the chap at home, the guy at home wanting to do a little bit every now and again, but wants a really good quality gun. This is ideal for that, because it doesn't mean that you need a huge compressor to power it. And that's one of the things I get asked the most, is what air setup I have, what compressor setup I have, because people are concerned that a lot of these guns, they're not going to be able to run them. So something like this that has a relatively modest air consumption at 230 litres a minute is ideal for people at home, really. The other one, 390, I've got a Kiwami 4. I've recently got a Kiwami 4 WB with the WB2 cap on it. I can't interchange them because the thread's different, but I've got the WB2 cap on that, and that uses, I mean, to me it seems quite normal, because a lot of the other guns use close on 390 litres a minute of air. But it is quite a difference between this and the WB2 cap. So we concentrate on this one at the moment, which is the WB1 cap. And the output of this is supposed to be, according to Iwata again, the figures I have is 140 litres, millilitres, yeah, that'd be a lot. 140 millilitres a minute for the WB1. And just as a way of contrast to the WB2, which is 160 millilitres a minute. So not a great deal of difference, really, considering it uses half the air. And it doesn't actually, it's not detrimental to the having a WB1 for it using less air. It doesn't give a worse job, if that makes sense. It actually gives a very, very good job. All these WB guns, including the WB300, which I've made known my views on that if you watch the channel. All these WB guns really atomise very, very fine, and they use the split nozzle, and in the case of the WB and the WBX, they use a 3 split on the nozzle. Some of the nozzles have 4 splits, but in this particular one they have a 3 split. So this is effectively the same gun as a WBX. It's just the cap that's different. So if you put a WBX cap on this gun, it's exactly the same gun. The nozzle is exactly the same, needle, etc. Body, obviously. So it's quite a universal gun, really, and it will do quite a lot of things. I have used it for clear coat before, and although the results are very similar to the W300, are a very fine atomised clear coat. Same with the base coat, it atomises very, very finely. Gives you quite a small pattern, and it lays it really, really even. Now that's ideal for base coat, and it sounds ideal for clear coat, but you're just not really getting enough material out. Now it will do it, and it will do it very, very well, but it will be very slow. And with a base coat gun, it doesn't tend to matter so much about the speed. Certainly in my mind, you're more worried about a good even coating. And by that I mean so that you don't get tiger stripes if you're using, quite heavy metallics. And by heavy I mean the amount of metallic in the mix is quite a lot. You have to be careful to keep your distance, etc., the same, so that you get a nice even pattern. because if you get a gun that's just pushing out a little bit too much at the top, at the bottom, or whatever, for whatever reason, be it pressure or whatever, you know, there's something wrong with the gun, or the gun's not particularly good, or whatever, although there's few bad guns about these days, then if you're doing that, you will get unevenness in the pattern. So when you look at it in certain lights, it will look slightly more heavy in metallic, if that makes sense. They refer to it as tiger stripes or mottling or something like that. So you do have to be careful. And one of the things a gun like this does, if you're at home, and I would say this is a very, very good gun for the person at home because of the relatively low air consumption, then if you're using it at home, then it will give you a good chance of getting a good even coating of colour. Don't matter what project you're doing, and it would be fine. It's good for pearls, metallics, except if you're doing solid colours, it's not going to be much of a benefit, because these things are relatively expensive to buy compared to, for example, the Kiwami 4 or the W400 Bel or something like that. These things are relatively expensive to buy compared to that, often twice the price, and a lot of it comes down to, as I've said before, this split nozzle. You're paying for that technology. They call it split nozzle technology, and that is what you're paying for. But it does give the results, and it atomizes finer, and it gives a really, really even pattern. But there's only certain times that will matter, and it's normally, as I say, metallics, pearls, if you're doing candies, things like that. So this gun, I would highly recommend it for the chap at home. But if you want to put a lot of material on and get on with the work, then it's probably not so good. Even with the WB2 cap, it's still not that great, because it just doesn't flow loads of material. But it's, as I say again, it's more for complex colours. So I give it full marks because I really do enjoy using it. And I got it out because I thought I'll use that because I quite like that. And I'm doing a project on a few car bits for someone in the family. I'm doing a few car bits, and it just, I thought, yeah, I'll get that out. And I thought, I have never done a video about it, so here we are. Anyway, you can see how even it lays everything. It's a really, really nice even gun. I forgot to get footage at the end where it's just matte, so this has actually been clear coated, so it's not normally as shiny as this. This is after it's been done with clear coat, but you get the idea. You get how even it is. So yeah, it's like a big W300. All right guys, well thanks very much for watching as always, and you keep watching and I'll keep them coming. Cheers guys, bye bye.